papatua nuku me tō nā ingoa tonu rā kia papatū haka i reira mai. Tēnei tohono nei, tēnei te mauri ka tohu i ahau. Mai mai te tipua, mai te tawhita, mai te kauhui o nā riki e tūturu whiti whakamaua kia tina, ui tai ki e. Nā reira kia ora mai koutou, nau mai hara mai ki tēnei wahanga o te reo me ki, o te reo o te Requiem hira, a nei ke, ko piri ake nei, tēnei a te aho. Ki weira i piri ake ra, e mihi tonu, muituna kore, te mihi tonu kia Jana, nō rā kia Tui, kia Alfred ra, tēnei pō, he hui tanga, he hui ngā, tahi nei, ia te Aho Robertson. Ka reira nau mahara mai hoa, ka iahi terei ria koe noho ana e pū maro rā, te rā te whenua moi a. Hara mai. So, kia ora everyone, I'm just introducing, this is our fourth Requiem Hera night / interview / healing modality discussion session. So we are here to share with love and light and to give confidence and lift up fears that live across the earth of all these challenges, especially all these interpretations that are in front of us at this time and moment. And to those that are in lockdown, kia kaha, kia ora. Those that have lost loved ones, tuku te aroha kia koutou. Those that have members that are sick with certain viruses, kia kaha, kia ora. And what I'm saying is be strong and take care. So further ado, kia ora Jan, kia ora Sally, kia ora everyone. I'm just going to hand the rākau over to Aho so she can introduce herself and elaborate on what we've just discussed prior, and I will share it to all the groups that are in this team. Kia ora rā, Aho, all yours.
Ngā mihi, thank you. Kia ora everybody. Thank you to my brother for bringing me here and having this platform and sharing this energy and this empowerment as well, because healing is all about empowerment and sharing with others, and empowerment and healing comes with others and through others. So my name is Aho Robertson, and just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I'm from Aotearoa, born and bred in WeheRua, Hawke's Bay. And we moved to Australia when I was only 10 years old. So I've lived a lot of my life, most of my life here in Australia, which is why I sound the way I do. I sound like an Australian because I spent most of my life here. It was a very different experience growing up in Australia. Moving from WeheRua to Australia was extremely different. I had what we call a huge culture shock, because everything was so completely different, and people spoke different, and they even looked different, even though there's obviously Caucasians here as there are in New Zealand, but there were no other Maoris, so that was a very interesting experience. And the reason why I'm here tonight to speak is I'm a soul realignment practitioner or / soul alignment specialist. So what I do is I go into the Akashic records. If you don't know what the Akashic records are, a short version of what that is the Akashic records is an esoteric library that holds the records of every single soul that has ever lived and that has ever been and that ever is going to be. So it's in a lot of cultures and in different religions. It could be called a different thing, but it's most well known as the Akashic records. So everyone has an Akashic record. Obviously, it's not like a library that we go and visit, because it's an esoteric thing. So your Akashic record is actually with you, all around you. And what I do is I have been trained and done training to go up into the Akashic records, ask the Akashic record guides, which are kind of like librarians. I might say WeheRua has given me permission to locate his record, because you cannot go up and just look in people's records. It's ethically and morally and spiritually wrong. So if you have anyone who says, oh, I just went up and looked in your record and I found this and that, it's very, very wrong. The person has to give me permission to go in and look at their soul record. And to do that, they give me their name and their date of birth and where they were born. So it's literally like a record. And I do a very short meditation and attunement and ask if I locate their record. So when I do that, I ask specific questions about their soul. Because when we're asking anything to do with the source or universe or the Akashic records, it's all about having intention, a very clear and focused and specific intention. The more specific, the better, because the universe loves specificity. When we're a bit vague, that's what we'll get back. We'll get vague. So if you are having any issues with getting any answers within when you're asking yourself, when you're asking anything, when you're asking the universe, source, your higher self, you need to be really clear and really specific that you are asking that specific question and giving room to get the specific answer back. So with my work, I find out what type of soul that person is, because there are different types of souls, and then there are soul groups and there's soul specializations, and there's a whole bunch of information that I can share with the person. And we also go into past lives. So the past lives that will come up in a session that I do will be the past lives that that person's soul wants them to know about. So it's not just a random life story that comes up just for entertainment. They are very specific stories that will come up, and these stories will have what we call blocks and restrictions, which are things that disrupt the soul blueprint. So when our soul is created by divine source, by Eo, by Great Spirit, whatever you choose to call it, that's all fine. It's created a certain way. But what happens is, as we come and become incarnated, wherever we're incarnated, we make choices and decisions that are against who we are as a soul. And those choices and decisions we call blocks and restrictions. So they could be the sort of thing where someone might say, oh, it's a negative choice. The only negative choice is a choice that is made against who you truly are. That is a choice that is stopping you from being in your sovereignty and in your divinity. And unfortunately, because of the way that we have lived for thousands and thousands of years, a lot of people have made negative choices against who they truly are. And quite a lot of them have been for survival. The majority of people that I work with are women, and every single woman, every single one, has a past life that comes up where they have been forced into a marriage that ended up being abusive for one reason or the other. And what can happen is we all have responsibility. So even though they made the choice out of survival, as far as the soul is concerned, it's still a choice. It's just a choice against who they truly are. So when they still carry that negative block and restrictions through their lifetimes and they don't clear it, which is what we all call karma, they still have that same energy in them, which is why we have people who seem to be wonderful, fantastic, intelligent, gorgeous, amazing humans, but they are living in relationships that are not good for them. They have toxic relationships. They have people around them who mistreat them, or they don't think enough of themselves. They don't think high enough of themselves because in a past life they have made a choice to stay in a situation. Once again, a lot of the time it's for survival, but still it was the choice that the soul thinks about. It's the energy. And so they carry that through. So the work that I do is all about empowering that person to inform them and give them the knowledge to say, hey, this is you as a soul. And when I share that with them, they all resonate. it's not random. They resonate with the type of soul that I tell them they are. They're like, oh, actually, yes, I am like that. That is the type of things that I love to do. And some of them have things where they say that's what I've always wanted to do, or I've always felt that, but they hold themselves back. So we can clear those blocks and restrictions. There is clearing. I clear it in their Akashic record, and they do a clearing themselves, which I give them, which is an attunement that they do, and it sort of activates the clearing that they do on themselves. So I absolutely love this work, and the more I did it, the more it opened up my own spiritual attunement and my own spiritual connection. And I've done other training where I learnt about healing, but holding my hands just over a body and being able to see and feel their energy. Most of the time, actually all of the time, I get visions through it, so I see it, and the visions are very quick. And every single one of you has healing powers, and every single one of you in some form or another is a healer, and we also all have psychic powers as well, and we are intuitive. And the thing is, by opening people up to who they are at their soul level, it opens up their intuition, and we have to trust that. It's one of the greatest things that we have that we don't do, is we do not trust our soul. We do not trust our intuition. And that's purely because of conditioning and patterning from this life and past lives, again, which is carried through the karma. I can tell you, every single person, every single one of us is born with what is known as the inadequacy blueprint. Every single one of us is born with it, because for many, many, many lifetimes we've been told that we are less than God, we are born in sin, and it has created lifetime after lifetime after lifetime where we feel unworthy, where we don't feel good enough. Now, you cannot destroy energy, you can only transform it, and you transform it with love. You transform energy with love. So when people have a bad energy or negative energy, and they say, well, I'm just going to kill it, I'm just going to get rid of it, I'm just going to not think about it, but it doesn't change it. That energy stays there, because you can't destroy it, but you can transform energy, and you transform it with love. And the first love that you should have, which will help you to transform energy and help with your own healing, is to have self-love. So whenever something comes up which makes you feel inadequate, because the inadequacy blueprint, it brings up comparisons, it brings up envy, it brings up jealousy, it brings up fear, it brings up anxiety, because that's where, from the past and even in this modern day, from those who are higher up, and I'm not talking source, I'm talking other humans, wanted to keep, the majority of humans wanted to keep us in this lower level of feeling fear and anxiety. So when you get that feeling and you're feeling that inadequacy, to transform that energy, you need to say to yourself this. First, you need to say thank you, because we need to show humility. Humility is one of the most amazing human tools that we can use to allow source and the universe and spirit energy comes into us. Because when we are humble is when spirit and energy source comes into us, because we are being open. When we're humble is when we are saying things like, I surrender. I give in. It doesn't mean you give up. You just give in, and you are open to whatever comes. So the first thing you do is you say, thank you, showing humility. Thank you for showing me where I have listened to others outside of me. Thank you for making me see where I'm believing others outside of me instead of believing in myself. Thank you for the lesson. I understand and I know. So, I can see comment. Oh, hello, everyone. So, and this is, we literally have to train ourselves to say this, because I've had to train myself to say it, because it's not a natural thing. So if you have been living a certain way, which we all have, and it hasn't included believing in yourself and loving yourself and saying, thank you. I now see that for showing me that this is not who I am, that I believe something that's outside of me. If we've been living like that forever and a day, to change that pattern, to put ourselves back into our natural soul blueprint of feeling encouraged and supported, of knowing how amazing we truly are, to put us back into that alignment, we have to change what we're doing, and it has to be a focused, intentional way of doing it. Kind of like, well, let's say, for instance, every morning you get up and you've been eating a certain breakfast every morning, and you've been then brushing your teeth, and you've been doing the same thing every morning for years and years and years, and then being told that's really not good for you. You now have to completely change everything and never do that thing again. You know, it takes a little while for that to become part of your new habit, to become part of your new routine, to become part of your new blueprint. But it's not really your new blueprint that I'm talking about. It's realigning you back to your blueprint. And it can be done. It absolutely can be done. My greatest wish would be for everyone to know who they are at soul level, because by knowing who you are at soul level, there's a shadow side as well. There's a shadow side of everything. You know, when you're in the shadow side, you know that you're okay. I'm in the shadow side. I'm not creating. I've stopped what I'm doing. I'm being, I'm holding myself down. I'm being in fear. I'm being in confusion. All those things are shadow sides. But the shadow side does have a purpose, and it's to show to you, hey, recognize that this is not good for you, and you're not actually doing what you were meant to do, which is to live your purpose. And your purpose is to live who you are as a soul, from your soul. I think I'm extremely lucky to be Maori. I'm extremely lucky that I started this work, because it has connected me so much with my my people and my country, even though I still live here. It's really kind of interesting. I received a calling 3 years ago now, where I just woke up one morning and I was crying about Aotearoa. The core was extremely strong. The short story is I cried pretty much every day for about 3 months, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what it was. I thought, this is very strange, because I hadn't been back for such a long time and hadn't even felt like it. But doing this work opened me up so much, and Papatūānukuru called me home. And the short story is I did eventually end up going back home, and within 2 weeks of spending time there, I probably got about 10 years worth of spiritual activation. So it was the right thing to do. And everyone that's back there right now on the lockdown, I hope you are all doing well. I'm sending you great love and light and encouragement. You guys are absolutely showing the rest of the world how it should be done, and how people should be working within the limitations that you've been given. When I heard that Aotearoa was going into lockdown, I cried. It was a very, very unexpected emotion, because I had a vision. I got a vision in my head. I do get visions, and trust me, you do as well. It's just, again, if we're not attuned and we're not aligned, we can ignore them, or we laugh at them, or we think, oh, that was just some silly thought. It's never silly and it's never random. I got a vision of Maori people sitting around in a circle on the ground, looking through a fence. And it was very, very emotional, because it was like I was on the other side of the fence looking at them, and a lady turned around and looked me straight in the eye, and she looked very sad and very scared. And this is the minute that I heard Aotearoa was going in lockdown, in quarantine and isolation. And the vision came to me very fast. It was so emotional. I cried. And what I heard was, it's not the first time our people have been in lockdown, isolation or quarantine. So it triggered an ancestral memory. And to go on from that point, this virus, kia ora everybody, this virus, COVID, is bringing up a lot, is triggering a lot of people, and they may not actually know why. It is also bringing up a lot of ancestral triggering, because if you think about it, the things that are happening right now, where we're being restricted, we're being limited, we're being forced to stay where we are. Our freedoms, which we have become very used to, have been placed on hold, and we're living in a style that people used to have to live in a long time ago, when they were a lot more oppressed. You know, you can't go anywhere. You can only get certain foods. You have to stay there. You can get arrested, or you can get fined. If you think about those terms, they're kind of oppressive, and we understand why we're doing them, because we want to be able to be safe. But those conditions and those patterns that are coming up for us to follow are triggering, in a lot of people, ancestral memories of when they have lived in a past life where they were restricted, where they were limited, where they were isolated, where they were kept indoors and not allowed out. So I don't know if anyone else is having that sort of feeling, because it can be subconscious. But I really wanted to share that with you, so that if you are going through any sort of feelings and you think, well, I'm not feeling that anxious and I'm feeling okay and I'm doing all right, but you're still not quite settled within yourself, and you're still feeling uncomfortable, or you're getting visions, you're getting insights, you're having dreams about things that are from the past. It's because you're getting ancestral memories from past lives being triggered, genetic ancestral memories. And I just wanted to share that with you. So it would be interesting to hear if anyone else is having any of those sort of things as well. How are we going with that?
Oh, kia ora. Sorry, I muted it, so I let you go for it.
No, that's all right. I mean, I can keep talking. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, no, you're doing brilliant. No, that's really awesome. And everybody, she can't see herself on the screen. It's all black, but you can see her and I. So, yeah, she's done a fantastic introduction.
I can see some comments, but they're, as they pop up. Oh, hang on now. That's okay. So the people that I have seen, I can see one now. Kat Kingy. Kia ora.
Yep.
Kia ora, Kat Kingy. Actually, Kingy is my father's name and my son's name as well. There you go. There was something. I can keep going.
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. So once again, I'm really happy to share, because it's a type of work that when I first heard about this work, I completely resonated with it. In fact, I was actually quite shocked. I thought, oh my God, you can do that. And I was thinking about doing it, but there were just different things happening in my life at the time, and I thought, oh no, I can't afford it, or I don't have time, or I'm too busy. And then I was in a meditation, and I was meditating on something that I wanted to achieve that week. Well, Source completely hijacked my meditation, and it just went all white, and I just saw a big black letters, soul alignment, and heard a voice say, do it. And that was it. And this is the type of things that when these things happen to you, you do it. When we get visions, when we get messages, unfortunately, it's not like an email. It's not like a text message. Hey, you should do this. Go there, sign up there, talk to this person. They are very quick. The soul brings through these messages for us from Divine Source, and they're quick. They're really quick. We never get shown what's around the corner. It can't show us what's around the corner, because if it does, our head will get in the way. Our head will go, oh, wait a minute. that seems a bit much. That seems a bit crazy. Oh, I don't know. I've got to go and ask my mum, my dad, my sister, my cousin, my neighbour. We get that doubt, that inadequacy that I was talking about, that inadequacy blueprint pulls us up. So we'll get a vision, or we'll get a message, or we'll get a strike, and it'll be just the next bit. It won't be the next 6 steps. And we have to learn to trust, because we're getting given it, and we need to learn to trust, because we need to trust our soul 100%. And I know that's difficult because we have lived with doubt and fear and anxiety for so long that it's asking us to just literally flip over and turn a page and start a new chapter and, create a new adventure, a new journey like that. And it is difficult. It is difficult to do that straight away. I totally get it. So do not beat up on yourself if you've had signs or you've seen visions and you didn't do anything about it at the time. Please, 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 never, never, never beat up on yourself, because as humans, it is in our nature to ask questions. However, we usually get more than one sign. So it's a matter of, okay, this looks like I think I'm going to do it, or I'm going to find out about it, and move slowly towards it. Action, when you physically take action, is the biggest energetic sound we can put out. So we can meditate and be sitting here and going, wow, I feel really awesome. I can see myself in a beautiful place in nature or whatever. All nice and good. We can talk about it. We can talk about it and express it. And that's really good as well. But the second we actually take physical action, we get up and move, it is like you are yelling at the universe. That is the strongest and loudest energy that you can actually put out to the universe. So there's that saying, actions speak louder than words, and they really do, because you are creating a bigger vibration and a bigger frequency when you take action. So if you're meditating on it and you're thinking about it, nice. If you're talking about it, nice as well. But until you take physical action and put into action what you're going to do and start creating, because that's what we're all here to do. We're all here to create. That's why you all came back. That's why we all incarnated, to create from our purpose. The minute you take action is when the vibration and the frequency goes massive. It goes big. It's like you've cranked up the volume on your frequency and your vibration, and the universe has nothing else to do but really respond, because it can hear you now, because you are taking action. And if you haven't already, you've probably been in situations where you've just decided, stuff it, I'm just going to do it. And the minute you do it is when things start happening, because you're broadcasting. You're broadcasting. The universe hear you. Other energies hear you. Energetically, people who may be in a position to help you or to guide you or to bring you closer to your purpose pick up on your vibration. Or people who are attached to them pick up on your vibration, and people start coming in and they'll collaborate, or they'll say, hey, I know someone who might be able to help you, or I know someone who's doing the same thing. You might be able to get some tips from them. And this is how it is. But we need to be brave enough, and I know it's difficult if we've never done anything like that before, to take that little step, to take that step, and to take that little leap. Maybe not think of it as a leap, because a leap sounds really like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Because that is what happens when we do something new. Obviously, you know you're not going to die if you're going to do something, but it's something out of your comfort zone. Anything out of your comfort zone, which logically, what's so hard about that? But if it's out of your comfort zone, it's out of your comfort zone. It doesn't matter who you are. Every single person, no matter who they are, no matter how rich they are, no matter how strong they are, no matter how even intelligent they are, if they are about to do something that is out of their comfort zone, they will feel fear. Everyone does. Because anything out of your comfort zone means it's out of your safety zone, means it's out of your survival zone, which means you could die. Obviously you can't, but energetically, based on our brains, our survival brain mechanism, which is built to help us survive. If it thinks and feels she's doing something that I know nothing about, she's doing something that we know nothing about, she's doing something that could end up in death, not failure, death, based on how we've been for hundreds and thousands of years, when we used to have to, when death was actually, an option if people did something that they weren't normally used to doing. So when that happens, let's say it's something like, okay, you decide to join a gym because you want to get fit or you want to get strong. So you're all excited, you want to do it, you sign up, you're a little bit scared because you think, oh, this is new, I don't know, should I wear the right clothes, and all the thoughts and stuff that go through our head. But you go, and you go there, and then you go there a couple of days later, you make yourself go, still a little bit scary. And during this time is when your brain can actually start making you stop. And things that'll happen be, by the second week, you might think, or second or third week, you might think, oh, hang on, I've got to work a bit later, so maybe I won't go to that tonight. It's a bit late, or I'm a bit tired. These things start happening to make us stop, to make us go back to where we were before, to make us go back to our survival safety zone, make us go back to our comfort zone, because it's easy. It's easier there. It's hard getting out of the comfort zone. And the brain always wants to do the pleasurable, easy thing. We all do. But now this is where we get the fight or flight. So what'll happen is, first of all, you'll experience the flight where you'll go, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. The flight is wanting to go back, to fly back to where we were before, because it's easy. We know it. It's comfortable. We're on remote control. We don't have to think about it. But if you stick with the new thing, if you stick with the thing that you really want to do, if you stick with the thing that you really feel inspired and motivated and called to do, whatever it is, if you stick with it, what happens then is the fight part comes out. Your warrior, your spiritual warrior comes out, because your brain and the energy part of it says, shit, she's really sticking to this, but she's really doing it. So we better jump in and help. We better jump in and do whatever we can. I know it's a very simplistic way of putting it, but that's pretty much how it works. So your soul will inspire you, give you an inspiration, and give you a vision of a purpose of whatever it is that will really lift you up and really make you sort of go, yeah, hell, I want to do that. And then the brain, because it's got to make the body work, goes, okay, let's do it. Once you made up your mind, I'm going to go. So that's another part of working with your soul and then with your mind and your body as well. So it's not something that can happen overnight, but you know what? It's not impossible. It is really all about believing in yourself, trusting your instincts, trusting the soul instincts and visions that come in, and knowing who you are at soul level, which is where I come in. And it's empowering. Knowing who you are at soul level is empowering. If everyone knew who they were as a soul, we would understand each other so much more. If everyone knew who they were as a soul, and everyone lived how they are as a soul, if they live their soul purpose, and your purpose is to live who you are as your soul, in your divinity, in your sovereignty, in your truth, then we wouldn't be angry at people about things that they do, because it would be just them being who they are as a soul. Every soul is amazing. Every soul has a purpose within their soul. And every soul helps each other as well. We all have we're all unique for a start. I've never met any soul the same as another soul. They're all completely different. We're all very unique. We all have what we call soul gifts and soul powers that we use to inspire and help ourselves and inspire and help others, which then creates a better world, which then means it's coming from love. It's coming from us being in our divinity. It's coming from us loving ourselves for who we truly are, which makes us more happier people to be around and more grounded and more open to source and being able to attune to source and live a completely different way rather than living in fear and feeling inadequate, which we aren't. We just think we are. I hope that makes sense. I can keep talking. I don't know if there's any questions. I hope you're enjoying it though. I hope you're getting it and it's making sense, because that's my main aim, that I at least make sense, that I don't sound I don't make sense.
I think they've all gobsmacked, I think, because they haven't rushed in with all the questions. And so I just put up there, any questions are welcome. Yeah, I'm telling them, hurry up.
I can keep talking. No, that's quite all right. Because if I'm relaying things that maybe you might not have heard before or that you find interesting, I'm really happy to keep talking, and I'm really thankful that that you're here, that you have spending your time here and you've come to share your time with me, because time is something that we can never get back. Time is priceless. So the fact that you are here and you're listening, I'm really grateful. Thank you very much. I can go on. I can tell you a bit more about, actually, I can give you a couple of stories about the clients and people that I've worked with. Oh, I've seen that gobsmacked. You nailed it, bro.
Go for it.
Is I've had clients who are literally in the same dynamics, right down to the people within their lives right now, that they were in a past life that has come up. So an example is one client I had, I don't know what's going on in these people's lives. I've got no idea. The past life came up, and in the past life, the brother had caused a lot of heartache and drama and trauma in the family. Now, this is the thing about past lives. The past lives that come up, there is always a great deal of trauma. It's not like your brother was mean to you one day, so that caused some sort of karma. It's always traumatic. It has to be, because it has to be something so big and so traumatic that energy stays with you. That energy stops you from being who you truly are. That holds you back in some way, suppresses you. There's always suppression in the past life trauma and past life traumas, and I can tell you that the majority of past life trauma is caused by family and present life as well, purely because these are the people that have had traditionally a lot of control over us, a lot of power over us. It has been our family members. They're the ones that have power over us, that have control over us. As I said, in every female, every woman that I've actually done sessions with has had at least one, if not two, past life marriages that they were made to enter into, so that the family could get money or land or some sort of material good, and they've been forced to be put in a position. And for thousands of years, women had very few options. They basically had about two for many years, and in some countries it still is that way, which is very sad and unfortunate. So the main options that you got, or the best options that you used to have, were that you married someone who you actually loved and who did care for you, and then they looked after you. The second best option was your family loved you enough to look after you and not marry you off to someone. So that was extremely rare. It was extremely rare because women were basically like cattle, used to obtain things and create power for the male and the family. So, which is why women were in situations where they were oppressed, etc., back in the day. And it follows through to now. And this situation where in a past life this woman was in a family and her brother had caused a lot of trauma and created a lot of drama. And there's usually, I won't say usually, because it's trauma-based, there's a lot of abuse, sometimes there's death. No one has actually ever done anything wrong. No one's been horrible or nasty and murdered someone just to be a murderer and gain power. If anything like that has happened, it's due to the fact that that person is trying to get away from someone, or they're trying to help somebody else. So with regards to that, even though there's oppression in that, we still have choice and free will. We still have choice. I mean, ideally, the person would have said, hell no, I'm not marrying that person because I don't like them, and I'm not doing what you tell me to do. I'm going to go and live my own life. Ideally. However, due to circumstances around those times, survival was very difficult, and a lot of people did what they had to do to survive. So, which brings me back to that client who then said to me, everything that you've just said to me, bar the really major trauma that the brother caused in the past life by doing horrible things, was exactly happening in her life right now. Her brother in their family was causing her family a lot of drama, a lot of heartache. And she literally said, it's almost exactly the same. It's the brother who's causing all this drama. And this has happened several times, if not 90% of the time, where people will say, that's exactly the same thing now. That is my family now. That's my mother now. That's my father now. That's my brother now. That's my husband now. So it's really good for people to, when they hear this, they make a connection and they understand why they are in a position that they're in. They understand why they are in a relationship that they're in. They understand why they are attracting certain people into their lives, because it's really, really difficult if you are attracting these type of energies and you've got no idea why. You were trying your best, you think you're doing everything to avoid it, but what has happened is, because these energies are karma and they're at a soul level, until it's cleared, or until you make the choice to stand up and go, no, I'm not going to accept this way anymore. I'm not going to accept this life. I'm not going to accept these people. Until you do that and change the karma and clear it, which is what we do in the soul level sessions that I do, it'll just keep happening. Hello, Robert. I have been on my own healing journey, and during my last 2 meditations have been getting huge waves of energy. I'm just wondering, in your opinion, what it is. Huge waves of energy. That's brilliant. So with meditation, particularly, I don't want to say, if you get good at it, because it makes people think, oh, I'm not good at it if I'm not getting what I want, if I'm not getting the answers, because it is a practice. Meditation is a practice, and everyone does it very differently. We don't all have to go and sit under a tree for 3 hours. Fine if you do. We don't always have to sit with candles. It's whatever suits you. We are all individuals, and we have free will, and we have choice, and we have responsibility. Huge waves of energy. Are these huge waves of energy? I mean, what I would ask first, or what I would think about as first, is how those huge waves of energy are making you feel. What are you getting from the feeling perspective of it? Is it uplifting? Is it positive? And I don't want to say, if it's negative energy, because sometimes if we're getting huge waves of energy, if it's in a meditation, it's not necessarily that they're always negative, but if we are feeling negative, it can be that it's an energy that we are not used to. It's an energy which is trying to come to us to open us up more. And if we haven't done it before, we become scared. And the minute we become scared or become in fear and we become anxious, we go, oh shit, that's negative. I do not want to feel that. So I will completely admit, when we are changing, when we are creating new things, when we are stepping out of our comfort zone, when we are experiencing energy and big energies if we've never felt them before, it's going to be uncomfortable. Because like I said, it's out of your comfort zone. It's going to be uncomfortable. And when we're in discomfort, it generally makes us feel anxious or we get scared. And that's okay. But it's at that point that we have to really hold tight and say to ourselves, what am I scared of? Nothing's happening to me. Why am I anxious? I'm not being hurt. What is this telling me? Why am I receiving this? We ask questions and hold tight, because what can happen is we just get scared, we get anxious, we get fearful, and then we just go right back to where we were before because it's easier. So it's very powerful. It is uplifting and energizing. Beautiful. So uplifting and energizing, huge waves of power, of energy, as you said, particularly meditation. You are opening up, and you are, for want of a better word, it's a word people use a lot, which I'm not loving the word because I've heard it so many times, is when you're receiving downloads, when you are receiving vital force energy. Vital force energy. So vital force energy is something that we are all able to receive. There is what in my work, there is what we have, what is called a God spark. That's just the name for it. So the God spark, if you can imagine, is like an umbilical cord to our heart. This is where we receive vital force energy from the universe, divine source, great spirit, as I said, whatever you choose to call it, it's fine. And we receive vital force energy. Every single person has this available to them. Now, what happens is our umbilical cord, it's like an umbilical cord. If you can imagine, it's gold. It's gold light. We receive gold light, which is vital force energy. Vital force energy is the thing, as you said, it inspires us, it uplifts us, it energizes us. We can do so much on it. We feel abundant. Now, the reason why a lot of us aren't receiving all our full quota at times of vital force energy is because we cause damage to the cord, and we cause damage to another thing which is called a golden web, which sits around us. We have a energetic golden web, and around the energetic golden web we have what are called spheres of protection, and they're to protect us, not from the boogeyman. They protect us from our own choices, which are the negative choices that we make against who we are. We do things that are not good for us. We make choices that suppress us, that stop us from being who we truly are. We follow someone else. Someone else makes us do, someone else doesn't make us do something. We allow someone else to make us do something. So when it gets damaged, it leaks vital force energy. So this is another thing that I do when I work with people, is we repair these. So it sounds like you are getting a big rush of vital force energy. And vital force energy, as you said, it's uplifting, it's energizing. We can do so much with it. We can live basically off it. With, obviously, you've got to have nutrition, all the rest of it. But when we are receiving our full quota of vital force energy, we are open, we are uplifted, we are energized, we are empowered, we are fueled with love. Love is the language of the universe. It really is. And we are fueled with it. And with it, we don't need anything else. So it sounds like you are getting a massive rush of vital force energy, which is incredible, and it's really, really good. Do not fear it. Do not doubt it. Keep doing it as much as you can, Robert. I hope that answers your question. Really good question too, by the way. What was I going to say? I was going to speak, I don't know, how much more time have we got? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
No?
Can you hear me?
Oh yes, I can hear you now. So I'm just checking back with you.
No, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Got about 10 more minutes, but it's wonderful because I know some of these people, which is good because it gives a different view and a different light to it all.
Oh, good.
And yeah, it is resonating to a few. And some are watching, they're watching rather than commenting, but it's cool. You're onto it. Go with it.
Okay.
Now, I'll put you back up.
Okay. So I'll continue on and continue sharing. And once again, thanks so much for being here. So yeah, vital force energy. So there are several things. Oh, well done, Robert. Yeah. just keep doing what you're doing. As I said, we will get, when we get our visions and the soul gives us just that next little bit, that's all we need. I know our human brain's like, I want it all. I want to know every step. I want to know every step. I want to know every name. I want to know everything. It's not going to happen that way. So we need to respect that, and we need to trust. And it's difficult because we all like to know everything. I mean, I do. I'm a bit of a control freak, and it's like, oh, I want to know everything. I want to know the next 10 steps. But if we knew all the steps, it would either confuse us, or, as I said, our brain will go, oh, wait a minute. I didn't know I was going to have to do that much, and I don't know if I can do that. It overwhelms us. Just one step at a time. Our soul knows us so well. It's like, yep, you just need to do that one bit, and then the next bit will come up. So we need to trust that. So I'll let you know that in my work there are 8 different types of souls. We have all 8 different types, but different percentages. So you will have one of those types of souls, which will be about 50 to 60% of your soul. And that's what we call the primary energy center, or the primary soul. And that is the one that we have, that we say that is who you are as a soul. Every now and then, someone might have 2 of the soul types, which will, like, maybe one's 28% and then the other one's 29%. So they're so close in how big they are and their amount of impact that that person will have 2 types of souls that they need to be aware of. Doesn't happen all the time, and trust me, 2 is not better than 1 because then you have to be aware of so much more about what type of person that you are. Soul, sorry. So we have 8 types of souls. So I'll just briefly go through them all so that you can know. And it's never wrong, because when I ask the questions, the specific questions that I ask, the answer is given to me. So I receive the answer. It comes down through source, through my higher self. It's channeled through as a conduit, and it's instant. And I trust it instantly. And this is the thing about when you're healing as well, and when you're learning to love yourself more and accept who you are, and understand how amazing and unique and incredible you really are. When you start believing those things, because it's true, you are. When you start truly believing those things, you trust that instant answer. You trust that instant message, because that's how the messages come. As I said, they don't come like emails, or they don't come out written. It's just an instant thing. This is what it is. So the 8 types of soul. So briefly, I'll just give you a very brief outline of them. And some people might think, oh, gee, that sounds like me. But you would be surprised how people might come across as a type of soul, but they're actually not. Because what can happen is people will get misaligned by their upbringing, by their conditioning, by their patterning, by things that they've done in past lives. So they will appear a certain way, but it's not necessarily who they are as a soul level. It's just how they've been, I guess, molded, maneuvered. I don't want to say manipulated, maneuvered, molded. So the first energy center is divine compassion. Fairly self-explanatory. So divine compassion, people are extremely compassionate, tolerant, and unconditional. They are all about family, community. These type of people are people who are nurses, who work in hospices. They're also about Mother Earth as the goddess, working with the earth, working in gardening and things like that, and creating communities. So that's divine compassion. The second soul type is divine creation. Divine creation is all about creating, also manifesting, because when you are creating something, you are manifesting something, you are building something. And they are very good at that. They're very good builders and creating things. They just can create and build things like that. It just anything out of thin air. And it could be building something physical, it could be a building, it could be a community, it could be a brand, it could be a recipe, it could be creation is their thing, and they are the type of people that get up and do a lot. You know, they're always doing things. They're always doing things, and they very much embrace the physicality of doing things. It brings them great joy because to create, you physically have to take action. So they're often action takers. The third energy center is divine order. Now, divine order is all about order, but it's also about balance, harmony, beauty, and law and order. So these type of people are the type of people who you would want in charge to make sure things run on time, to make sure things are done really well, to make sure things are done in order and they look brilliant when they do it, because they're all about not only making things functional and effective, making sure that they're functional and they're effective, but also that they're beautiful as well. So order, when we think of the word order, we think of, well, I'm just being generic here, of someone going, all right, everything's got to be done a certain way. And they do that. But it's also about keeping harmony and keeping balance. And they do that. They set the bar high for themselves, divine order people. So if you know someone who probably may be called anal, you know, someone who has to do things a certain way and everything's done really beautifully and it's always done right, and it's always, you know, done so that everything looks great and works out wonderfully, they're probably a divine order soul. The fourth one is divine love. Now, divine love souls are all about relationships, and they are natural healers. They don't have to be doing it. It's not. They just are. They are just natural healers. They're energetically, they are natural healers. They hold sacred space for people. They're very unjudgmental. People feel very comfortable with them, and people feel safe with them because, you know, it's love. And people feel safe enough to be who they are around divine love because they know they won't be judged. They know that they are so unconditional that they can be themselves, and so they open up to them. As I said, these are only very small amounts that I'm telling you, because there are shadow sides as well, as there is to everything, but I'm just sharing the small bits which are the light sides of these sides. So then we have, what was that? The fourth one, divine love. So then the fifth one is divine truth. Divine truth are all about the truth. These people are what we call like spiritual warriors. They speak up for the truth. They are very good. They're like lie detectors. They totally understand and know when someone's just telling a whole lot of rubbish. They speak up for truth. They are all about truth. They can come across as very blunt because they just want to give you the truth, and they want to give to you as quickly, as much as possible, so then you know the truth and you can go and do what you can with it. So they can come across as being very blunt. They are also natural seers, because that's what seers are. Seers can see the truth. So they have great psychic powers, and everyone does, but theirs is more into being a seer. And as I said, speaking up for the truth, being very powerful about the truth, sticking up for those who can't stick up for themselves, that sort of thing. So the sixth one is divine self-expression. Divine self-expression people are amazing communicators. Language for them is like food for other people. It has texture. It fuels their soul. Divine self-expression people, they are also natural channelers, and it's the realm of the spiritual teacher. They are teachers, so they can be great at speaking and writing, because communication is all about divine self-expression and expressing exactly who you are, and being open and doing it. And they are great at it, absolutely great people. They're often writers and speakers as well. So the seventh energy center is divine power. Now, power souls sort of have power souls are actually great at manifesting as well. Divine power is all about empowerment and freedom. So these type of souls are all about freedom and free choice and free will, and they're very good manifestors, really good manifestors. They're so good at it though that they can actually manifest a whole lot of nothing. So because they're always manifesting. Power souls are also very energetically sensitive. So some people might say, oh, that means they're an empath. Not quite so. They're energetically sensitive, so they are highly intuitive, that they can pick up on energies, and because of that, they need to be careful when they're around a whole lot of people because they can pick up on what everyone's doing. So they need to spend a bit of time away from people so that then they can come back and not be so sucked and drained. But divine power is all about empowering and freedom and free will. They're great for manifesting. They can do a lot because they like so many things. They've got to be careful with the shiny object syndrome, but once they're focused, they can do a lot. And the 8th energy center is divine wisdom. So divine wisdom is people who have a lot of common sense. What they say is very profound. They're the type of people that they might only say one sentence, and in that one sentence there's so much wisdom and common sense and reality that that's all they need to say. They're often the type of people that don't necessarily talk a lot, but when they do speak, it's quite profound and it's quite brilliant. And as I said, they have a lot of common sense, and they're usually highly intelligent as well. So that's just a little short bit on all the different types of souls. And as I said, we have all of them in us. We have all of them in our soul. It's just that one of them usually is so prominent that it could be 50 to 60% of our soul, which makes it our primary energy center, which makes it the primary soul of who we are. And as I said, your purpose is to live, as who you are as a soul, to live in your sovereignty and your divinity as a divine truth or divine love or divine self-expression. Because when we align, or what I do is realigning people to that, it gives you the focus and the confirmation to be exactly who you truly are. And deep down, every single person I have spoken with knows it. They know that's who they are. They understand that's who they are. But because of being suppressed and, as I said, having blocks and restrictions made from their choices, they've never given themselves the opportunity or the chance to truly become that, to truly open to that, to truly be it. And that's why you keep coming back, because you all really are amazing. Jack, trust in self and spirit is something I'm still trying to build within, struggling to achieve. Jack, that is quite okay. Honestly, the struggle is real. The struggle is real. We have been, as a human, and even through our soul lives, we have lived, as I said, for many, many years, oppressed and conditioned to not believe in ourselves, conditioned to believe that we are inadequate, conditioned to believe that we aren't worthy, which is completely wrong and it's completely false. But that has become our comfort zone. And, comfort zones are not necessarily comfortable. They're just zones where we have learned to survive. So I like to call the comfort zone the survival zone, or the safety zone that we've been kept in for so long, that when we get the opportunity to step out, which is the opportunities that we can actually take right now, it's still difficult. It's not easy because we've been living like that for so many lives. So please, please, please do not give up. And what I like to say to people is, one of the things that we need to do is nourish ourselves in every dimension, physically and mentally and spiritually, to look after ourselves as best we can, because if a part of us is unhealthy, it's very easy for us to, not go fully into where we want to go or what we want to be, because something is holding us back. So make sure you eat well and you're hydrated. I mean, these are all just normal things that people say, but now in this particular time, it's so important for us to look after ourselves and nourish ourselves and be grounded. And it's sort of like a dual thing: be grounded, be strong and physically grounded, and be able to get up and do anything at any time if called to, but also to be open and aware to the spiritual messages and the visions and the signs that are coming in, to trust them instantly, even if they seem weird, because that's what we often say, like, well, that was a bit weird. Yeah, that's something that we are so used to saying, oh, that's really weird, rather than, hey, that's really cool. You know, if we reframe ourselves, if we change our language and go, that was cool, I wonder what that was all about, I'm sure I'll find out, from a positive, uplifting view, as much as we can. And it still is a bit of a swing. It's backwards and forwards, but I'm just totally encouraging you to keep stepping forward one step at a time. And you are all amazing and incredible, and all have your special gifts and your special soul powers. And every day I send encouragement and empowerment and strength, because I know how difficult it is. You know, the struggle is real. But it's the struggle that actually helps us grow stronger as well. You know, it's like when you're lifting weights to build up your muscles. It's damn hard at first, lifting heavy weights. It's really, really hard. And there's discomfort and often pain and tears sometimes, until you build up that strength and you get past it. And that's what it's all about.
Kia ora. Kia ora, my friend. Sam Murphy just saying, she's on a roll. And I'm going, well, you'll catch the next lives when she comes on again. But no, thank you, Taho. That was really awesome. It's amazing because all of those that have come on here with me, you've all come in a different viewpoint and a different stance of WeheRua. It's amazing how much you've shared. It's a lot of information, I think, and I think what also comes out of this, a lot of ticks that's answered a lot of questions. It's about, and it's right, it's about sharing. This is the platform to share. And when I say everyone's a Requiem healer, is so right with that word. So to explain about Requiem, the word itself is tenfold of multitude. And whatever gift we have will come through because we hold the Requiem of light.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, thank you very much, Taho. It's about getting out there to our peoples, and I mean peoples with the S, all Indigenous, whoever's there that wants to be part in this energy. And you surely have given a lot of beautiful energy across to everyone tonight. It's an honor to have you on. I've just listening to you, it's reflecting to all the different types of waves that I've since this has started. And it's beautiful waves too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And thank you for sharing that knowledge of the divine soul, the soul matrix, how it builds up. And yes, there is the other side of it, the shadowy side. Yes, as we know. But in this light, I see that this part of the knowledge is just a start for all our people to start standing up and standing up, not in human form, but in their own soul. And standing in their highest self. So, just to curve this where everyone, with this addition to it, there's those dimensions that we talk about daily. There's that, and a lot of people are afraid to go past 5D. And how you're talking about the soul matrix. For us to understand about our soul, we have to walk self-love and understanding and discovery of self. And that lets us into that peeking of the door of 5D. But then you don't stop there. You go into 6, you go into 7 where higher self leads you, and then you go into spirit, then you go into your soul. And then you've got all those levels of avatar and all that to travel, which allows you, which a lot of people in the world don't pass, the 12D. And I'm saying to everyone, we have a whakapapa for all dimensions to the 72nd dimension. And it's in our whakapapa DNA, and it's with our 70 atua Māori that actually tells us we are at the 72nd. Now, there's 70 atua, 70 gods in the Māori tradition. You wonder why they left the 71st and the 72nd. And that's for us to figure that out. And here's a bit of a clue. We are the 72nd, and who's the 71st? That's the question. In the European, in the foreign or the mainstream, they usually go from 1 to 72, but in Māori stream, it's actually back to front because at the 1 is always you. That's why a lot of people don't broadcast about 1D, 2D. They stay between 3D and 5D. But we've got to get that knowledge out to our people. So like what you've just said, you've just basically opened the door for more knowledge and to bring it into our reality. So te aho nā mihi tonu kia koe me au kārangaranga maha wairuatanga mai, me wau tipuna, atua Māori mai, nā taniwha, nā tipu e hara mai kia koe tēnei pō, ki roto i tēnei whakaaturana, me te mātauranga e koropupu ake i a koe tēnei pō. Nā kāre kau he kupu kia atu i konei, e nari he mihi mutuna kore kia koe, me au nei tū wahine tanga, mana wahine mai, wahine toa, wahine WeheRua mai, tēnā koe te aho. So I'm going to finish off with taku taku and end this live, but I'll still carry on talking with te aho straight after this. So everyone else, tēnā koutou katoa, tēnā koutou e te ti, e te tā, tēnei e tuku te mihi kia koutou I whakarono mai, ki nā kōrero a tēnei wahine a tāhuani a te Aho Robertson, ki roto o tēnei kaupapa lives with the Requiem healers. So nā reira atu I konei, learn to listen to learn, to see your truth. Take what you need, leave what you don't need. And walk like a tortoise, not like a rabbit. So basically, take your time in your own learning. Don't rush, because it'll be still there till you finish it. So further ado, love and light. Kia ora. Good health to you and yours. Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Ngā mihi.